Good morning, my Real News Midday TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, and I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and a productive day. And in the news this morning, comes a killed man sees a firearm in Kingston. A man was fatally shot by police and an illegal firearm was seized during an incident on Crescent Road in Kingston 13 Tuesday morning. Up to press time, the man was still unidentified. The firearm is said to be a Glock 19 with a magazine containing 8 9mm rounds. Reports reaching the news are that around 2:50 a.m., a police team was on patrol along the roadway in a marked service vehicle. On reaching a section of the roadway, they heard explosions. The driver stopped the vehicle and the team exited the unit. It is reported that they saw a man dressed in a blue shirt exiting Bowens Road and entering Crescent Road with a firearm in hand. The police called out and the man pointed the gun in their direction and opened fire. According to reports, the lawmen, in fear for their lives and those of their colleagues, returned the fire. The man continued running in the direction of a football field and fell. Police emergency was called for assistance and the injured man was transported to the Kingston Public Hospital where doctors pronounced him dead. Lawmen found the firearm during a search of the area. Guardsman security and mother freed of $13 million ATM robbery. A former driver and a junior treasury officer for Guardsman security and his mother, who were charged in connection with the theft of $13,750,000 from two National Commercial Bank ATMs on January 5, 2020, have been freed. 24-year-old Mayor Beckles and his mother, 43-year-old Anadine Silvera, were freed when they appeared before the St. Anne Parish Court on Tuesday with their attorneys Peter Champagny and Samoy Campbell. Beckles was arrested after allegedly confessing to his involvement in the robbery. However, Beckles' attorneys Peter Champagny KC and Samoy Campbell highlighted that the confession came after an intensive interview lasting over 3 hours, during which Beckles was without an attorney and was never advised of his rights. They argued that the confession was not made voluntarily, as the interviewer had promised Beckles certain benefits in exchange for his admission. They also argued that for the majority of the interview, Beckles maintained his innocence and only confessed after he was promised the benefits for his confession. The confession therefore could not be admitted. Beckles' mother was also charged because during the confession, Beckles said that he had given her the stolen money to keep safe. However, there was no evidence to suggest that Silvera was aware of any criminal activity. The prosecution, after reviewing the confession, which was video recorded, was forced to concede and offer no evidence against both Beckles and Silvera. JCF warns the public of scam impersonating police commissioner. Members of the public are being alerted of an ongoing online scam whereby individuals are impersonating the Commissioner of Police, Dr. Kevin Blake, on WhatsApp. According to the JCF in a release on Tuesday afternoon, the fraudsters attempted to engage unsuspecting individuals in conversation on the messaging app and then request urgent assistance in purchasing items for an important cause while insisting on confidentiality. If attempts are made to call the number, the scammer claims that the commissioner is in a meeting and unable to take the call. The JCF said that neither the Commissioner of Police nor any other member of the constabulary would solicit financial or other assistance in this matter. We urge the public to exercise vigilance and be wary of online scams. If you receive such a message or any other suspicious request, do not engage. Instead, report the incident to the police immediately, the JCF said. Individuals are being encouraged to follow JCF's verified communication channels for official updates and information. Individuals who suspect a fraud are being urged to report it to the fraud squad at 876-922-2374 or contact the Crime Stop at 311, Police Emergency at 119, and the NIB tip line at 811. INDECOM probing 31 fatal shootings by security forces so far this year. The Independent Commission of Investigations says it is probing 31 fatal shootings involving members of the security forces since the start of the year. The latest incident occurred early Tuesday morning along Crescent Road in the St. Andrews South Police Division. 19-year-old Brandon Reed, otherwise called Redman, was fatally shot during a reported confrontation with a police team sometime after 2 o'clock. Residents mounted roadblocks along Crescent Road off Spanish Town Road to protest against the killing. They say Reed was shot while pleading for his life to be spared. The police say during a search of the area, a Glock 19 pistol with one magazine containing 8 rounds was recovered. INDECOM Commissioner Hugh Faulkner spoke with the news on Tuesday afternoon and reported that his team is collecting statements in the case.
The officers report that shortly before 3 a.m., while on mobile patrol, they heard explosions sounding like gunshots. The officers further report that they encountered a man who opened fire at the police team. The fire was returned, the man fell, and the firearm and ammunition recovered. 31 fatalities involving the security forces have occurred since the start of 2025. In none of these cases was body-worn cameras being worn.
Man charged with beating and shooting teen girl to return to court on February 21. Kevin McCollum, the man who was charged in connection with the beating and the shooting of a teenage girl last year, is to return to court on February 21. Mr. McCollum was charged last month with attempted murder, wounding with intent, assault at the common law, possession of a prohibited weapon, unauthorized possession of ammunition, and using a firearm to commit a felony. When the matter was called up in the St. Catherine Parish Court on Tuesday, his attorney, Donahue Martin, said he was confused as to why his client was charged because he was not pointed out during an identification parade. But the case was transferred to the Gun Court Division of the High Court. Reports are that on February 13, 2024, around 10 p.m., the complainant was shot and injured by the accused. It is alleged that the complainant was brought to Mr. McCollum to be reprimanded after being accused of stealing a sum of money from a relative. The accused reportedly beat the teenager, brandished a firearm, pointed it at her head, and discharged 1 round, injuring her. She was taken to the Spanish Town Hospital and later transferred to the Kingston Public Hospital, where she was admitted. An investigation was launched, leading to the arrest and the subsequent charging of the accused. Suspected gangsters to be retried for killing cop's 2-year-old daughter. 2 men who were reportedly among a group of armed gangsters who shot and killed a toddler in Augusta Town, St. Andrew in 2007 are to be retried on February 17 in the Home Circuit Court. Adrian Tomlinson and Aaron Chambers are to be retried for the murder of 2-year-old Tara Lewis, the daughter of a policeman, following a hung jury trial in 2008. The new trial date was scheduled on Monday when the accused appeared before Justice Leighton Pusey. A trial readiness hearing has also been scheduled for February 11. The 2 defendants, who are on bail, were tried along with the now deceased Rasheen Ellis and Dante Tate. Prosecutors led evidence that about 2 a.m. on March 19, 2007, armed thugs invaded the house where the child lived in August Town. Thugs sprayed the child and her relatives with bullets while they slept. The child's 23-year-old mother and her 6-year-old brother were among those injured. 2 teenagers were also injured in the attack. The attack, according to the investigator, was ordered by an area leader who had an argument with a member of the family. The 4 men were initially tried from July 5 to August 13, 2010. However, a retrial was ordered after a 12-member jury had failed to reach a unanimous verdict. The jury voted 10-2 after considering the case. At the time of the verdict, there was an amendment to the Jury Act which makes a provision for the court to accept a majority verdicts for some categories of murder. The amendment was effected on July 27, but neither trial judge Justice Courtney Day nor prosecutor Kathy Pike had been aware that the law had been passed, which would have allowed for the conviction of the men. The amendment to the Jury Act, which came as part of the government's anti-crime package, abolished the need for unanimous verdicts in murder trials and made a provision for majority verdicts as long as 9 members of the jury vote for a conviction or acquittal. The amendment makes a provision for majority verdicts to be accepted in murder cases which are not likely to attract the death penalty. But unanimous verdicts are still required in cases including the murder of members of the security forces, judicial officers, correctional officers, all acting in the execution of their duties, the murder of witnesses, and any murder committed in the course of or furtherance of an act involving violence and is calculated to create a state of fear in the public or any section of the public. Guys, thanks for watching. Please join us this afternoon at 2 p.m. for another news update.